There is a painful truth no one ever tells you. You are not lacking luck. You are not lacking ability. What is stopping you from creating the life you truly want may be the way you are living right now. You want success, but you are afraid of failure. You want to be loved, but you keep measuring your worth through the eyes of others. You want peace, yet your mind is constantly chasing things you cannot control. And the most frightening part? Years can pass, while you keep waiting for the day you finally become strong enough to change. But Stoics don't wait. They understood a secret that most people spend their entire lives learning. If you want to change your life, you must first change the way you face life. Hello everyone, welcome to the Stoic Hypnosis channel. In this video, we will uncover 7 Stoic principles that can help you master your emotions, endure adversity, stop chasing what was never within your control, and move steadily toward the life you truly desire. And the 7th principle may completely change the way you understand what success really means. Now, let's get started. Principle number 1. Control what you can, release what you cannot. One of the first lessons Stoicism teaches is also one of the hardest to accept. You cannot control everything that happens to you. You cannot control whether someone loves you. You cannot control whether people understand your intentions. You cannot control the past, the economy, other people's opinions, or the unexpected storms that enter your life. And yet, so much of our suffering comes from trying to control exactly those things. Think about how much energy you have spent worrying about someone else's reaction, replaying an old conversation in your head, wondering why someone left, or imagining everything that could go wrong tomorrow. You are exhausted, not because life is always difficult, but because your mind is fighting battles that were never yours to win. The Stoics understood something powerful. Your freedom begins where your need for control ends. You may not control what happens, but you can control what you do next. You cannot control rejection, but you can control whether rejection destroys your confidence. You cannot control failure, but you can control whether you learn from it. You cannot control someone walking away, but you can decide whether you will abandon yourself just because they did. This is where real strength begins. Not when life finally becomes easy, but when you stop demanding that life obey your wishes. From now on, ask yourself one simple question whenever anxiety takes over. Is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. Not because you don't care, but because your peace is too valuable to be sacrificed for something you were never meant to control. Principle number 2. Accept reality before you try to change it. There is another truth that can be difficult to swallow. You cannot change a reality you refuse to accept. Most people don't suffer only because something painful happened. They suffer because, deep inside, they keep saying, "This shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have treated me this way. I should have made a different choice. My life was supposed to be different by now." And so they spend years fighting reality inside their own minds. But reality does not negotiate. The past will not return because you regret it. A person will not love you because you desperately want them to. A missed opportunity will not come back simply because you finally understand its value. And time will not stop because you are not ready to move forward. Stoicism teaches us to face reality as it is, not as we wish it had been. This does not mean becoming passive. It means stopping the war against what has already happened. Acceptance is not weakness. Acceptance is the moment you stop wasting your strength asking, "Why me?" and begin asking, "What can I do with what I have now?" That question changes everything. Maybe you lost someone. Maybe you failed. Maybe you started later than everyone else. Maybe life gave you a hand you never asked for. You don't have to pretend that it doesn't hurt. But once you accept that this is where you are standing, you finally become free to decide where you will go next. You cannot rewrite the beginning of your story, but you can still choose how the next chapter will be written. Before we continue, I want you to pause for just a moment. Think about everything you have been trying to control lately. A person, a situation, your past, someone else's opinion of you. Maybe there is something in your life that you have been fighting against for far too long. If this message speaks to you, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you are willing to practice these Stoic principles in your own life, leave a comment below and write, "I choose what I can control." Sometimes, a simple sentence can become the beginning of a completely different way of living. Now, let's continue. Because the next principle may be even harder to accept. And it may reveal why so many people remain trapped in the same life, even when they desperately want to change. Principle number 3. Do not wait for the perfect moment. There is a quiet trap that destroys more dreams than failure ever could. Waiting until you feel ready. You tell yourself you'll start when you have more money, when you have more confidence, when life becomes less complicated, when you finally know exactly what you're doing. But there is a problem. That perfect moment may never come. And while you are waiting for the right circumstances, your life is quietly moving forward without you. Think about all the things you once said you wanted to do. The business you wanted to start. The book you wanted to write. The person you wanted to become. How many of those dreams are still sitting somewhere inside your mind, simply because you were afraid of getting it wrong? The Stoics understood that life does not promise us ideal conditions. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be risk. There will always be a reason to wait. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking the next step while fear is still standing beside you. You don't need to know how the entire journey will unfold. You only need enough courage to take the next step. Start before you feel ready. Speak before your voice stops shaking. Try before you know whether you will succeed. Because sometimes confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence is created by action. And one day, you may look back and realize that the life you wanted was never waiting for the perfect version of you. It was waiting for the imperfect version of you to finally begin. Principle number 4. Stop comparing your life to someone else's. One of the fastest ways to lose your peace is to measure your life against someone else's. You look at their success and question your own. You see their relationship and wonder why you are still alone. You see their achievements and suddenly feel like you are falling behind. And the cruelest part is that you are comparing your entire life to a small piece of theirs. You see the results, but you don't see the years of struggle behind them. You see the smile, but you don't see the nights they cried. You see where they are today, but you don't know the price they had to pay to get there. And while you are busy watching their journey, you slowly stop living your own. The Stoics understood that every person has a different path. Your life does not become less valuable because someone else arrived somewhere before you. You are not late. You are simply on your own timeline. Maybe you are 25 and feel behind. Maybe you are 40 and believe you should have achieved more. Maybe you are 60 and regret the years you think you wasted. But listen carefully. Your life is not a race against other people. The only comparison that truly matters is this. Are you wiser than you were yesterday? Are you stronger than you were before? Are you becoming someone you can respect? Because the moment you stop asking, "Why am I not where they are?" and start asking, "What can I do with the life I have?" something inside you becomes quiet. And in that silence, you finally begin to hear your own path calling you forward. Principle number 5. Turn obstacles into your training. Most people see obstacles as proof that they are on the wrong path. The Stoics saw them differently. They believed that the obstacle is part of the path. Think about the moments that broke you, the rejection you never expected, the failure that made you question your ability, the person who walked away, the opportunity you lost. At the time, you probably wished those things had never happened. But what if they were not simply interruptions? What if they were training? Because life will always give you something to overcome. And every time you face difficulty, instead of running from it, something inside you becomes stronger. A muscle does not become stronger by avoiding resistance. Neither does the human spirit. The person who has never experienced failure may have confidence, but the person who has survived failure knows something much deeper. I can survive this too. That is a different kind of strength. So the next time life puts an obstacle in front of you, don't immediately ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Maybe the difficult person in your life is teaching you patience. Maybe failure is teaching you humility. Maybe rejection is teaching you self-respect. Maybe loneliness is teaching you how to stand on your own. You may not have chosen the obstacle, but you can choose what it turns you into. And sometimes, the thing you desperately wanted life to remove becomes the very thing that builds the person you were meant to become. Principle number 6. Master yourself before you try to master your life. There is a dangerous illusion many people carry. They believe that once they control their circumstances, they will finally become happy. If I make more money, I'll feel secure. If I find the right person, I'll feel complete. If people respect me, I'll finally feel worthy. But there will always be another problem, another desire, another person to impress, another mountain to climb. And if your peace depends on external circumstances, you will spend your entire life chasing something that keeps moving further away. The Stoics believed that the greatest victory is not controlling the world, it is controlling yourself, your anger, your impulses, your fear, your ego, your desire for approval, your need to immediately react whenever something doesn't go your way. Because anyone can be calm when everything is going well. The real test is who you become when life pushes your buttons. Someone insults you. Do you lose control? Someone rejects you. Do you question your worth? Someone succeeds before you. Do you become bitter? This is where your real power lives. Not in making everyone behave the way you want, but in refusing to let everyone else's behavior decide who you become. You cannot always choose what enters your life, but you can choose what you allow to live inside your mind. And when you master yourself, something extraordinary happens. You stop needing the world to cooperate with you in order to feel at peace. You become harder to manipulate, harder to break, harder to distract. And eventually, you realize, the strongest person in the room is not the one who controls everyone else. It is the one who can still control himself when everything around him is falling apart. Principle number 7. Define success before the world defines it for you. And now we arrive at the final principle, perhaps the most important one, because you can follow every principle we have discussed and still spend your entire life chasing the wrong destination. Ask yourself honestly, what do you actually want? More money? More recognition? A bigger house? A successful career? More followers? Someone else's approval? But imagine reaching everything you once dreamed of and discovering that you are still not at peace. What then? This is the trap. Society teaches us to chase things that can be measured: money, status, beauty, power, achievement. But the Stoics asked a different question. What kind of person are you becoming? Because your possessions can disappear, your reputation can change, your position can be taken away. Even your success can eventually belong to someone else. But your character, your wisdom, your courage, your ability to remain calm when life becomes difficult, those are things no one can take from you. Real success is not getting everything you want. It is becoming someone who no longer needs everything to go your way in order to be happy. It is waking up without hating your life. It is having enough courage to pursue what matters and enough wisdom to let go of what doesn't. So perhaps the greatest secret of Stoicism is this: you don't need to control the entire world to create the life you want. You need to control yourself, your choices, your attention, your reactions, your values, and your direction. Because when you change those things, you may discover something profound. The life you were desperately trying to obtain was never built by getting everything you wanted. It was built by becoming the person capable of living peacefully with whatever life gives you. And perhaps that is what you were truly looking for all along. Conclusion. Perhaps the greatest lesson of Stoicism is not how to get everything you want. It is learning how to become the kind of person who can face life without losing himself. You will still experience rejection. You will still fail. People will still disappoint you. Some dreams will never come true. But you don't have to let those things destroy your peace. Control what you can. Accept what you cannot. Begin before you feel ready. Stop comparing your journey to others. Turn obstacles into strength. Master yourself. And most importantly, define success on your own terms. If this video gave you a different perspective on your life, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support may seem small, but it gives us the motivation to continue creating deeper, more meaningful content like this. And before you leave, I want you to remember one final sentence. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can always choose who you become because of it. Write that sentence in the comments if you're ready to live by it. Thank you for being here. And remember, the strongest version of you is not the person who never suffers. It is the person who learns how to suffer without losing himself. Thank you for taking the time to watch until the end of the video. See you in the next videos.